Team presents.
Okay. So, welcome all to the Jokatech podcast. Sorry for the background noise and maintaining, trying to do everything. So, this podcast that we're discussing today is centered around the versus battles we've all been treated to for the last year or so since the pandemic started. A lot of people were praising, and rightfully so, Swiss Beats and Timberland for starting this venture. And it's been a very good venture. It's been something that's fascinated me as an artist myself. It's kind of platform that I think is ingenious, and the concept to me is eternal. I personally am proud that something like that is being done, because I think that's the ultimate celebration, is to go back and look at a great catalog over a period of time and to really just review and celebrate how legendary you are. A lot of artists are turning it into a competition game, and then I've heard that, oh, well, it doesn't matter how the artists view it. It's the fans that are going to view it as a competition regardless. So we have to view it that way. And that's why some people defer from participating. I don't respect that. I don't agree with Nas's stance and other artists that feel like they don't ever want to do a versus because it's beneath them, or they don't feel like that's their lane. You have a category, you have a catalog that you can be proud of. Why are you allowing fear and other things about, oh, how am I going to be perceived, or what if I can't do this? Go there and freaking play the songs. You could do it. You could do a Dipset number and freaking lip sync your joint. If you don't feel confident performing the thing live, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's about celebrating your catalog. I have a catalog. And another thing about the verses that gets me is when people start these verses, they get on there and then it's, oh, what are you playing that for? Nobody knows that. There were a couple of instances in the recent Fat Joe and Ja Rule verses that were intriguing to me, because I love both artists. I was rooting for both of them. I was really happy the battle took place. That's one of the versus battles that I actually wanted to go down, versus these little mishmash kind of verses that don't make any sense. And it was actually really good. And I enjoyed the stupidity of people and watching them debate how it didn't make any sense before it came down and, oh, 50-50. First of all, you show that's a knee-jerk reaction, and you show how ignorant you are to talk about 50 Ja Rule. You're bent up over two dudes from Queens and a beef that they had in the street that trickled over into music a bit, and forgetting the fact that Curtis Jackson only did one viable record. I'm one of the only people that even likes the Massacre. He did Give Richard Die Trying. He did the mixtape, the Wankster mixtape, or Power to Dollar, whatever he would, that he did prior to that record. He only has an album and a half that he could actually come to a versus with. He wouldn't even last to the intermission. But you're all remembering it differently just because of the wave that he had. You realize he wrote Get Rich or Die Trying for a long time, right? He does not have a long catalog at all.
Now for a break.
what's that Joe doing there? He ain't got nothing. I'm like, you guys sound so freaking stupid. And these people are talking as historians. So my thing is this. It's not only about hits to me. I'm big on good music. To me, what Versus should be about is good music. There was a moment in the show, there was a couple of moments where Fat Joe spit a verse from a gutter lyrical track that he did. He did one that he had with Digging in the Crates, and he did another one from a solo project. Killed the verse. And the reaction is like, oh, we don't know that, and it's kind of like negative response. I'm like, the verse was sick. Like, are we about listening for good music? Or is it about, oh, what was known and acknowledged? If it wasn't known and acknowledged, then it's whack. And I'm like, it's amazing to me that dudes actually base what they hear on that. The dude spits a sick verse, and that's the reaction. And then the same thing happened with Ja. Ja took a verse out of the crates, and it was one of his joints, because that's one thing I love about Ja Rule. He had mainstream hits, and then he had a lot of lyrical jams where he would just go off and he would just start spitting some Pac deep stuff. And if you actually listen to the lyrics, your jaw will drop like, oh shoot, this dude is really saying something. And he goes off and spits one of those verses, and the reaction is, oh, nobody knows that song. And it's like a drawback from the crowd. And I'm like, I don't get it. I want those moments. I watch Versus to hear those obscure songs that weren't that well known that are really good. Most artists, their best work are buried in things that weren't released as singles. That's common. And Versus gives you an opportunity to air some of that out. But these mainstream simpleton idiots don't want to hear that. All they want to mainstream. I mean, to me, Versus means nothing without that. If you're only going to play mainstream hits that were radio played over and over again and nothing else, I don't want to watch Versus then. That's not what I'm watching it for. I want to see your catalog, everything that makes it up. And another thing too is it's not about status either. It's about what you bring to the table. I have a catalog. You can laugh that off and asshole one. But I have a catalog that goes back, at this point, 16 plus years. I'm sorry. Check that. 18 going on 19 years. That's how long my catalog is. And I got the albums to show. We're talking 20 plus projects. I have the catalog. I could do a Versus easily. But the thought is laughed off because, oh, we have received. You don't have to receive me for me to have a catalog of great work. I don't need you people to receive me. The work's put in. The work is done. I have several banger tracks. My catalog is like Ja Rule. Because I approach the game exactly like he does. I try to make albums completely good from the game. I don't try to put out a couple decent singles and then fill the rest of the album. It's a body of art. So like I was saying, just to finish up, I'd like to do a Versus battle. I might verse myself. Or I might do one, I had a concept I was coming up with, I was going to verse the world. And since no one wants to step forward and do a Versus with me because they just want to pretend like they're ignoring me when really they're just scared, I was going to play cuts and records. I was either going to poll people, name some hits that you would like to hear from various artists in a Versus. Just something subtle. Have them name them, put together a playlist, and throw my hits against them. And to see what comes out of that. I might just do that. So we'll see. We'll see what's coming in the future. Stay tuned.
Now for a break.